Well, hello there. This is Shane from Shane's Reviews. I hope that you are having a great day today. Well, the book we're going to be talking about actually is a 0.5. It's a prequel book, which usually I don't go through prequels. They usually don't do anything for me. I figured I would try out a new experience. I haven't read any of the Sector 64 books yet from Dean M. Cole, and I was like, well, let's give it a shot. But why not start at the very beginning? And I hope that it doesn't ruin my experience. Now, this, granted, is a very short book. It's called Sector 64 First Contact, which was narrated by R.C. Bray, and of course wrote by Dean M. Cole. Narrations, fairly decent. Very manly in the way that they were portrayed. I don't have any other better way of putting that. The only way it could have been any more manly is if R. Lee Ermey had been the one doing the narrations. Full Metal Jacket, Metal Time, that kind of thing. So anyway, is there going to be another one? No, okay. This seems to be a very interesting series. It's a very short read. It's not very long. It was only 2 hours, I think, or right around 2 hours. Whenever it comes to the audible presentation of it, and it was very enjoyable. All right, so in this book, we have all the typical sci-fi tropes, right? We've got this guy, there's Roswell, New Mexico. It's 1945/47-ish in that area, or in that era, and he's been having some problems with his with his plane. Now, we don't find out until the end of the book what some of his mental problem really was. It's kind of alluded to, but not really gotten into. But then it is, but then it's not. So he's taking another test flight in a particular kind of an airplane, and it's been having a lot of problems, and the controllers just wanting to make sure that Anthony's good, and he says a few things, and it doesn't really register what he's saying with Anthony. But he's like, yeah, sure, okay, maybe the gremlins are out. He doesn't really say gremlins, but you know what I'm getting at. Maybe the things are going to be good now, because the plane only has issues after flying for a few minutes, and so he's got to fly it for at least a few minutes to find out if he's going to live or die. Interesting. So he takes off, he gets out into the open, he's flying, and then this storm comes out of nowhere, and it's a Majestics type of a storm. It's big. It's a big one. He ends up finding like this UFO while he's there, kind of. It finds him, mostly, partly, but we'll get to that. So the storm destroys his plane. He gets struck by lightning, there's all kinds of hell, and he ends up riding currents and this, that, and the other. He eventually wakes up in his parachute falling, and he lands on this mesa where this UFO is. See, look, I told you we would get there, we're there. And so whenever he gets there, he finds, the typical tropes, the typical things that are known about the aluminum foil-ish type of a skin of the plane or object or device or whatever you want to call it. And he bends it up and it comes undone. And then he picks up these things that are like foam that look like I-beams, throws them in the air, and they float down to the ground slower than what they should, but he can't bend them or break them. So, we have all this kind of a thing. So this is stuff that's already been done. It's been done a lot. It is what it is. It's what we think we know. And we move on from that, and then we start to get into the more interesting things. He meets a female alien, and come to find out, we're part of that species. We're just a lost colony. It doesn't really explain a whole lot about that, but she does let him know that we come from them. And then the story becomes more of a survival story, which made it much more interesting to me. Because at first I was like, come on, let's not do it this way. But then whenever we started to get into details in this very short book, it became very apparent that this was more about the relationships and what could be done for humanity over the typical trope type of a thing. And so it kind of won me back. I was like, Dean, buddy, you've done such a good job on the last series of yours that I was reading, and I'm enjoying and anticipating the next book. But this one, I don't know so much. But then we came around, and I was like, yes, finally. Good, thank you so much. So she is fatally wounded whenever she crashes, and we get these wonderful things. I don't want to tell you anything about the actual details because I want you to experience those firsthand. She puts something in him that lets him hear what she's thinking, and she can hear him. And so it's kind of like a learning thing back and forth. And there's a problem because her power supply has disappeared. The United States government has got it, and of course, we're the type in that time period, and even now, that we will poke it without knowing what it is and possibly destroy everything around us. And it's just the way we are. Sorry, I know it's annoying. It's just the way we are. We can't help it. It's a big red shiny button. We don't know what it does. You're right. We're going to push it, and we're going to push it, and we're going to push it again. And then we blow up. That's just what we do. Yeah. But the point is, she needs to get a hold of her people to let them know, okay, I crashed and this is what's happening. It was just so interesting to see how attached he got to her so quickly. I don't know if it's because of the things that we find out a little bit later or just right in the front end of the book about him and his family in the past, because there are certainly some things that are brought up during this little 2-hour book that lets you know that he has got some issues that he should probably talk to somebody about. And it's understandable the way that it happened, how that would be affecting him in a negative light, in a negative way. And it made me kind of worry about the dude too, that he would get that kind of an emotional thing. So that might be something that could be explored. I don't know if it's just him or if other humans are going to have that kind of attachment to these beings whenever we meet them, or if particular things are shared or done by them physically so that it causes a irrational emotional attachment. That would be a really good thing for taking over the world, wouldn't it? But anyway, beyond that, what are some of the things that this book made me think and feel? Well, at first, boredom. I was just like, wow, this has been done before. Now, granted, the first opening scene with him in the plane and him flying and fighting against the storm, that was interesting. But whenever I got to that little middle section where it was talking about some of the aspects of the ship, I was but then we got past that and it got much better, and now anticipation because I can't wait to get into the first book. I'm curious to see if this is even going to go into the first book, because this was in 1947, if I remember right. It was 1945-ish, whatever Roswell, New Mexico happened. So there might even be a prequel to the prequel, which in that case then you might as well have a prequel to the prequel to the prequel. That kind of rubs me not the right way. All right, so really curious to see how it ties into the series. I'm also kind of curious to see what it's going to be, because it could be that this is a book about us getting brought into their civilization, triumphs and happiness and this, that, and the other that can be entailed with that. And or it could be a book about, hey, these people are presenting themselves as our brothers, we actually come from them, and maybe they're actually enslaving humanity and bringing them into the galactic core and possibly even like their finances or manufacturer, which makes me think of another story where there was these galactic people that they had some setups like that, and we were more like slaves and indentured servants to them. So it could go that way. I'm really interested to see what Dean M. Cole's interpretation of this story and what this story class should be, where he's going to take these characters, what he's going to do with the characters, and if there's going to be like some kind of intergalactic struggle already happening that we just don't know about, won't get told about, or what. I mean, there's all kinds of little things that could happen here, so it'll be fun to see for sure. Anyway, with that being said, these are the most interesting things that Zach has found this week. Thank you so much, Zach, for splashing those on the screen, and thank you for taking your time to leave a comment. You know, it makes us feel all nice and warm and fuzzy every time we get one of those. It's actually kind of the highlight of the week, so thank you for keeping them coming. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to have your splash on the screen next video or so, do something down there. You know what to do. And as long as it's clean, then we'll splash it up. With that being said, that brings us to, oh my goodness, the question of the week. Yes, the question of the week. In this book, I really don't feel like there was a whole lot on the line for Anthony on his survival or destruction, with the exception of the destruction of the world with the way that things were put out. So I don't really have a question of the week from the book, because the book doesn't actually provide me with a good one for that. But have you been washing your hands? And if you do wash your hands like you're supposed to with everything that's happening in the world, tell me your favorite way of doing it. I'd love to know how you're washing your hands. And there's no wrong answer as long as you're washing them for at least 20 seconds. Okay? I don't care if you're washing them underneath your leg. I don't care if you're using the water fountain that you may have in your house. Why would you have a water fountain in your house? I don't know. But maybe you do. Maybe that's where you wash your hand. I'd like to know. Just curious. Call me nosy. With that being said, thank you so much for watching the video. If you made it this far, oh my goodness, you are the brown in my hash. That's right, you are my hash browns. And I appreciate that in a big way. You know what to do at this point. Like, share, subscribe. If I saw something here that you think I did right or good or somebody else might enjoy, feel free to let them know about it. Share it out to them. If you think we do a good job overall, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'm not sure which video YouTube is going to have you watch over here. I'm sure the things come over by now. If not, let's bring it in there, over there. One of those two videos. Not sure which one you'll pick, but whichever one you do pick, this has been Shane from Shane's Reviews. That you have a beautiful week in this upcoming week. As you stay safe and healthy, of course. And I will see you in the next video.